Okay, let's see if I can read this without my glasses. Huge dilemma for us. 7-year-old grandson who has been diagnosed with many issues, autism, ADHD, ADD. Okay, we chose virtual school this year because I'm older, and with COVID, we decided best for everybody. And that's a very valid reason. I understand. Grandson has ABA therapy for 10 hours a week, but the therapist wants to increase that to 15. Now, this is being provided privately, separate from his virtual schooling. Okay, so Friday, you received an email from the school about truancy, which is starting to pop up in some of these places. Um, you know, this is in Alabama, so Alabama's been open, pretty much the entire school year in most of the state. And as a result, I'm starting to see this now that they're open up. It's like the people that chose virtual, they're sort of making these decisions that they no longer want the children to be virtual, even though it should be an IEP team decision. It should also be based upon health considerations, things of that nature. So they're not wrong. They're not right for doing that. There should be some kind of IEP team decision or discussion instead of just outright sending you, nasty grams about where's your grandson. So for months, we thought that we were doing the right thing. The school knew about the ABA therapy. We met with the teacher and the special ed every week or so. Now we get the letter basically saying he has to go to school and we can deal with the therapy at other times. Even if he goes to school, they say he will be counted absent if we check him out for therapy. School doesn't offer ABA therapy. My question, what's more important, school or his need for ABA therapy? If the school believes education is important, which you agree with, but the question above is our stickler. Shouldn't they offer ABA therapy? Hard decision as both are important, but one has to be the most important. And you name the school, and I'm very familiar with this school, and I'm also going to let you know that that particular school system, from the last I checked, employs not one, but two board certified behavior analysts. And so they're more than capable of providing a program that includes ABA therapy within the IEP program, more than capable of doing it. Now, I would hope to think that I had something to do with them deciding to go ahead and I think they were a little bit sick of having to contract those services, that they went ahead and just paid for licensed behavior analysts to be employed by the system. But the problem with that particular school system is that they don't use them like they should. And that's where the problem is. And what really irritates me, and there's a growing number of schools that they'll have behavior analysts on the payroll, but yet will go out and say stupid things like, we don't do that. Why would you say something like that as an educator? Why would you ever, when it comes to an IEP program where you have to determine and analyze what the child requires in light of their circumstances in order to receive a free, appropriate public education? So you got free in there, okay? So if you're out there cranking out and spending all this money on your ABA therapy, that's even in copays. And that's something that your child requires in light of their circumstances in order to make tangible progress, which is then the appropriate label within their public education program, their IEP. Then at that point, they should be paying for or they should be providing the ABA therapy. So that's a real stickler for me. They have every capability to do it. They should do it. That is something to where they shouldn't be sitting there telling you that, well, we're gonna charge you absent if you take your child out early. This is the other thing, that there's a Secretary of State letter, or at least, I'm sorry, an Attorney General of Alabama letter providing guidance and explanation on the Compulsory Education Act, which is the truancy law in Alabama. And one of the things that the clarification letter stated is that after the child is in school a certain amount of hours a day, that if the child is no longer there, the school can't sit there and charge them as absent. They just can't, because they're there, they are there physically, and they're there for, the majority of the day. And at that point, I can't really tag you for truancy, because of the clarification letter of what is an absence and what is what is being present and what is being absent. That's that. But at the same time, it should also be an IEP team decision on, whether you can early release in order to take advantage of ABA outside of the school. Now, and I got a problem with that. There's many parents that do that, okay, because their insurance pays for it, whatever. But at the same time, I think it's letting schools off the hook when they should be providing this therapy, okay, as part of the child's school program. And depending on the child's circumstances and their need, I can see where there would be benefit to providing additional services. Now, the problem with COVID is that many, let's say, BCBAs, speech language pathologists, OTs, because there's a lot of kids that have gone virtual, and they have schedules that have been established, then in this particular situation, I think that you should probably stick with your private BCBA services. Frankly, I think the benefit for the 15 hours outweighs what the school would be able to do with the time remaining, being that we're knocking on the door of spring break. And then tackle that business of having the school provide ABA within your child's or your grandson's IEP program starting next school year. All right. But I would make that very clear to them that from now until the end of the school, this is what we're going to do. We're going to, in school, virtually, we're going to maintain the 15 hours a week of private ABA. And then starting next school year, you're going to use your behavior analysts. You're going to have the staff, like an aide or a special ed teacher, trained to a level of competency to be able to provide that ABA with the BCBA supervision. They can do it. They will do it. This particular school system does do it. They tend to do it because of settlement agreements that we come in and negotiate with them. It's not like they do it voluntarily. They should, but with some school districts, they're just a little bit more, I'm going to keep my mouth shut, but there's some schools that they just sort of continue to surprise me at how difficult they are when they have all the tools, all the resources just right there. And all they got to do is reconfigure it in a little way. It's not like it's adding all this additional expense. And that's what's pathetic, is I've been in schools in the middle of freaking nowhere that is nowhere close to the kind of resources that this particular school system has, and that they actually employ behavior analysts and then just refuse to train staff to that level to be able to provide these things. I mean, I don't know what brand of idiot you have to be to sit there and do stuff like that. But it's damaging to kids, and I think it's a violation. But, in your particular situation, that's right up my alley. I mean, if you are given a hard time in fixing this, then let me know, and I'll be more than happy to step in and assist you in getting that ironed out in the way that I recommended. Finish a school year, get that 15 hours of therapy. There's no reason to disrupt the program at this point. There's only a few more months of the school year left, okay? And then tackle the school schedule next year with them providing ABA, and then reset your schedule with your private BCBA later on in the day. That way you can have twofers. And I think it's beneficial for some kids to get that double dose of ABA, not only at school, but also privately.